Welcome back.
Hi, everyone. It's me, Uma Gahd from Canada's Drag Race Season 5.
And Selma Gahd, your motivational monster, who was not on Drag Race. It's okay. I'm still incredible.
This is true. So we are back again for another podcast. It's going so well so far. I'm super thrilled. The response has been wonderful. I feel great. I look great.
Honestly, I have to thank you all because when you do a new project, you never know how it's going to go. And we've had it in the back of our minds to do a podcast forever because we both like to talk a lot. We're both known for our hosting skills and we have a lot to say. So people are like, oh, you should do a podcast. You should do a podcast. And we've been guests on several podcasts where we've also been some of the most viewed episodes on said podcasts. So I was like, maybe we should just do our own, you know? Maybe we should just do our own thing. And we've had it in the back burner for years. And now we're finally doing it. And seeing people turn up for it, it just means a lot. So thank you for tuning in and watching with us and interacting. It makes a big difference. So yes, please make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us everywhere. It really does make a big, big difference. And it doesn't cost you any money.
So here we are with another episode of Dear God. And before we get started, we just wanted to let you know, why are we doing this? How are we qualified?
When are we doing it?
We're doing it now.
Oh, okay.
Why are we doing it? Because they asked. And how are we qualified? Well, our qualifications are not valid here in the province of Quebec or anywhere in North America, South America, anywhere surrounded by the Atlantic, anywhere touching the molten core of the Earth,
within the universe, without the universe, inside out, being and not being, not legal advice.
So we're not qualified.
But we're here to have a good time and hopefully make you feel a little bit better.
So, Selma, before we get into the questions, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, honestly. This week I found myself multiple times just like smiling and singing songs and playing my video games and just feeling really good for no particular reason. I mean, okay, the podcast and the response has a lot to do with it, but it feels nice to be doing something productive that feels positive. So yeah, working on the podcast has been like my feel good moment. We were talking about in last episode, in episode 2, about how do we find joy in a world that's really difficult. And I think working on something productive for me helps my brain not like spiral into other things. So I've been really good. How are you?
I am doing really good for all of the opposite reasons because I've been doing essentially nothing.
I thought you were going to say because you're not watching the podcast.
Yeah, because everything I've heard about it is terrible. No. Just in that I've not been doing anything. Really?
Okay.
I've gotten to relax and just enjoy being at home. And listen, I'm a trendy girl. Everyone knows that I'm hip.
I thought you said another T word. I was like, Uma. Sienna would be very happy.
She wishes. So I'm a trendy girl. I'm hip with it, fly, funky, cool, and fresh. So I have been seeing all of the analog bags online.
Okay, yeah.
Mostly videos critiquing the analog bags.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because there's a positive side and there's also like the evil consumerist side of it where people are like, come with me while I buy a $400 bag and fill it with things that I've never used before and never will use again. So
okay, yeah, but that's not what you're doing.
No, but see, that's just it. Is that really what ended up happening is that I saw these videos and I was laying in bed, as usual, and they were like, it's a little bag so that you can have your little projects next to you. And I was like, I always have my projects next to me. And then I looked beside me next to the bed. And yes, my projects are always next to me. All of my unfinished projects are always sitting right next to the bed in a giant pile. So I bought a bag. Just because, another ADHD thing that I heard online was, like if you find that you're always putting things in a place and it's not where it's supposed to be, give it a home there. Make it useful. If you're always dropping your laundry in the same places, put a laundry basket there so it's less messy. So I got myself a little bag. You know what? If you want to see the bag, if you want to see what the little setup is that I made, let us know in the comments. Maybe I'll make just a little video, just to kind of show people what's up. So I felt productive. You know, I cleaned up in the apartment a little bit, and it just made me feel like, okay, maybe my life isn't a mountain of stuff. So there we go. So I've been feeling really great because I got to take care of myself a little bit and felt productive, and like I was getting some things organized in a way that will help me function better. So that was nice.
Also, it's just a cute bag.
It's also just a cute. You'll see. Let me know if you want to see. We'll put it.
Yeah, we could do a little short.
Yeah,
because we're not gonna do a 30-minute video of the bag. Sorry,
I could.
Well, I mean, if the people ask for it,
don't make me do a 30-minute video. Don't make me sing.
You have to edit it though.
Don't make me sing. Don't make me edit a video. Don't make me edit a video. Anyways.
So for those of you that are joining us for the first time are like, what is happening right now? We are filming our podcast called Dear God. It's an advice column where you, the audience, get to write in and your aunties give you advice. And like we said, it's not legally binding advice, okay? So take it or leave it, but it's just there so you have another perspective of people with, let's say, life experience. Life experience.
She just called me old. If the foo shits.
Good work. So yes, if you want to write into us to potentially have your question featured on the pod, you can do that on houseofgod.com. That's God, G-A-H-D.
Like high definition.
Or hot dog.
So you can go to houseofgod.com, and then all of it's there. You can watch it on. There's a YouTube link. You can listen to it audio only if you want to like put it on while you're doing the dishes or like, you know, struggling to do housework. And there's also a form that you can write in anonymous questions to us. Make sure to use the anonymous one because we have a contact form for people who want to send us emails. Don't use that one.
I mean, if you do, it's not the end of the world. No. We'll still get your question, but just it won't be anonymous.
So you can send us anonymous ones all in the podcast area of the website. So you can check that out, send in new questions, and they can be serious, thinky thought things, or they can also be nonsense. We have a little bit of a mix today.
We do.
We do.
I'm excited to find out what the questions are because I did not read them purposely because Uma was like, I'm going to take charge this week. I was like, perfect. So I will not read them and they'll be a surprise. So none of this is prepared in advance. So are you ready, viewers? Let's dive into our first little morsel, our little appetizer.
All right. So for a starter, this is because, you know, some people have seen me on the television, but they haven't gotten to see you yet.
Well, that's not true. They might have seen me in a documentary that we just had.
That's true.
If you want to see a little bit more about House of God and one of the productions that we did, we do have a documentary right now on Out TV. And it features our show, Drag Accessible. Do you remember the title of the...
Full Access Drag.
So yes, watch Full Access Drag on Out TV. It's a documentary featuring us, but also a bunch of amazing artists that have different disabilities. And we did a show together and some artists from different cities that also have shows. And it just showcases the variety of amazing drag that exists in our universe.
So if you want, you can watch that. And then we're also just going to get to know each other a little bit better right here. Because our first question is, it's a two-parter. Part one, did you both start drag at the same time together?
What if we start at the same time separately?
But that's irrelevant because we didn't.
Okay, yes, that's true. Irrelevant.
So we started drag at different times, but we were all ready to get... Spoilers, y'all. We're married. So when I started in drag, I was in a theater troupe called House of Laureen, and... It was a little bit of a herding cats scenario. I was doing my best to keep things kind of like moving forward in a group of artists that were trying really fun, new, exciting things. Everyone was doing their best to move things forward. And at some point, Selma had to kind of step in and help us behind the scenes.
To get things moving forward. Because everybody was so creative and had so many ideas and it was such a big collective that...
Everybody's so creative.
That you just kind of needed somebody to get stuff done. Like, you know, answer emails and fill out forms and make sure that the applications for the festival are done on time so we can actually have a show.
So that was the first time. And then the second time, someone had to drop out at the last minute. And so Selma stepped in to be in the play that we were performing, but not in drag, kind of in like a drag king persona.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, she came to me and she was like, all right, I'm going to start my own show. And I was like, great. And she was like, I'm going to host it. Great. It's going to be for alternative drags. Great. I'm going to be in drag. Excuse me?
She was so mad.
I wasn't mad.
She wasn't mad. She was so happy.
No, I wasn't mad. I was insecure because Selma has this bad habit of making everyone fall in love with her. So when I go to visit my friends, I walk in the room and they go, where's Selma? And then Selma walks in the room and they go, she's here. So I was like, oh, great. Okay, so I have this one thing that I'm really good at, you know, and then you're going to come in and blow me out of the water. And you kind of did.
I mean, no, we do different drag and you have great strengths and you're fabulous and you're amazing and we do things differently and we're both fantastic.
But exactly. So you started a few years after me and then you really like took off with your show Coven,
yes,
which was a pleasure to be in. And, you know, we're always looking for a way to bring it back more powerful than ever.
I'm not saying anything yet, but.
Ça, je dis rien.
But.
So that was part one. So no, we did not start at the same time. I've been doing drag for 11 years now, and you've been doing it for
7,
I think. Right?
Yes.
All right. So then part 2 is, how did you come up with Uma and Selma Gahd? Has it been your name since the beginning, or did they change? So.
Well, okay, we're doing it backwards. So we're starting with me. I came up with my name because I wanted to be related to Uma, and Uma already had Uma Gahd, so God was the given for me. But then I was like, I want a name that's witchy and powerful, and also puns are fun. So if you hadn't understood, my pun is not as obvious as Uma's, but Selma Gahd, sell my God. I am the mistress of business, making things happen. Managing this one.
She is my manager, my cheerleader, my co-director, my chauffeur, my chef. She runs my life. And so that's part of her job was always like, you know, asking for the money and making sure that I got paid, because I always have this thing where I think that I should do everything for no money.
And I'm like, you have bills.
So Selma is, you know, sell my God. I was the God that she was selling at the beginning, and then now she does it all for herself too. And so my drag name, it's always been Uma Gahd, but it wasn't always going to be.
Ooh.
Because originally, listen, y'all, I'm gonna. Unfortunately, I am a woman of a certain age, and so I did grow up at a certain time watching Friends.
Yes.
And there is this one scene in Friends that I absolutely adore where when...
You're going to call yourself Pivot?
No. So when Rachel and Ross are having the baby, and then they're trying to come up with a name for the baby, and they are like vetoing each other's choices, and Rachel says, Rain. And then Ross vetoes it, and she says, why? Rain is a beautiful name. What's wrong with Rain? And Ross goes, hi, my name is Rain. I made my skirt out of wheat. And the thing is that, like, as a hippie pagan, like, I used to be the president of the Montreal Pagan Resource Center. We used to go to, like, conventions and you know, camping weekend festival things. I know Rain. I know the girl who made the skirt out of wheat.
Yes. We all know Rain.
So I was going to make that into my drag persona. I was going to be Rain. And I was just one name, Rain. And hi, welcome to the show.
And thinks she likes to host.
So hosting like that was going to be a little, it was going to take a while. So then what ended up happening was that I was at my best friend's place and we were just hanging out, and I told her that, you know, are we going to order some food? And then I said, I'm so hungry. Oh my God. So 1, I was hungry as usual. 2, I was complaining as usual. So That's where it came from. It came from me going, oh my God.
And also, Rain would have been a horrible name marketing-wise. Listen, this is a piece of advice for all you young performers or new performers or some people that are thinking about rebranding. In 2026, the year that we are today,
in the year of our God, 2026,
you do need to think about your marketing, your SEO, and how people can find you online. So if your name is Rain, nobody will ever find you unless you attach something else to it to make you findable. And even then, it's going to be hard. So just keep that in mind when you pick a name. If you want to be, searchable online, it helps with marketing yourself and selling your shows.
Take that to the bank.
Yeah, I'm not saying don't pick the name. Just keep that in mind before you build a whole brand around it.
So there we go. So that was just a little bit of getting to know us, getting to know all about us. When I am with you, learning to, getting to hope you like me, or whatever.
We got there. That's fine.
Whatever Julie Andrews said. She sang that song.
Yeah, I know.
Sometimes.
Now all the musical gays are going to be so angry at us. You said whatever Julie Andrews said. We love musicals. We love Julie Andrews. Uma did not mean any harm.
Get canceled. Anyways.
So that was our little appetizer.
And so now we're going to move on to our entree question. So this is the big question for the episode.
The main course.
Yes. All right. So this one, there's going to be a lot that we can say about it.
I feel like there's a lot I can say about most things, but that's
yes,
beside the point.
So there's a lot that we could say about this one. So we're going to, try to get the most out of it that we can.
Okay.
So this one says, I have a fun habit of holding everything going on in my life in, which eventually makes me completely shut down or explode. Which I know isn't good, but when I talk to friends about things, I instantly feel like I'm burdening them or way oversharing, so I hate opening up. It's nothing they've done, it's a me internally kind of situation. How do I get past the feelings of being a burden?
Okay. Do you want to go first or do I go first? Because I have a lot of thoughts on this.
You go first.
I go first. Okay. So there's two parts to my answer. The first point is, if these are your friends, that to me implicitly means that there is a level of trust between you and said person or people. And if these people are your friends, you need to trust that they are capable of communicating with you. You need to trust that the things that they say are true, and you need to trust that they have your best interest in mind and they respect you and that they love you. If those things don't exist, if those things aren't there, then that's a problem in of itself. And maybe that problem is just in your head, and that's possible. Some of us are insecure. Some of us have doubts about how people perceive us. But you need to, first of all, know that if someone's your friend, they should respect you and trust you, and you should trust them, and there should be kindness between you. That's the first thing, right? The second thing for me, I am somebody who has very clear boundaries. I'm very good at setting boundaries. And it's something I try to tell people all the time. You need to have better boundaries in your life. One, it allows your brain to rest because you're not constantly second guessing. You're not constantly trying to figure out. You're not constantly, because you know, this is where my line is. This is my boundary. I know it. Other people know it. Fantastic.
I think maybe like boundaries or expectations.
Yes. Boundaries and expectations. They're kind of tied together, right? So the reason those two interact together to answer your question of like, how do you deal with this, right? How do you get out of this fun habit that you have of always doubting or feeling like you're an imposter or you're in the way, is that if you feel that way and you know that's how your brain operates, then take a second to sit with your friend or friends and tell them like, hey, I know this might seem silly or this is just how my brain works, but I just want to get it out there. I'm feeling a little insecure. I feel like maybe I'm bothering you, or I feel like this, or I feel that. And explain to them how you're feeling and say, if that actually is ever happening, please let me know kindly, but please let me know so that way I can adjust, because I do feel like I'm too much, or I'm too loud, or I'm too this, or I'm too that. The things that you're worried about, just verbalize that to them. And then trust that if it's an issue, they will let you know. So have a healthy relationship with somebody, explain to them what's going on, and then you need to be okay with letting go and trusting that they're going to respect that. And that, you know, if they have a boundary where like that's too much for them, they will tell you because they respect you, and they'll tell you with kindness and not maliciousness. And that's something I want to say. Like, you know, we've all had those friends that are like not really friends. They're not very nice.
The frenemies.
Yeah, or just people that, you know, don't necessarily have your best interest in mind and like will constantly be telling you, oh, you're always bothering me. Oh, you're always this, you're always that. Maybe that's not your friend. Maybe that's an acquaintance. And that's fine. But just, you know, there's a distinction there.
So I think that what you're saying makes a lot of sense. I think like, yeah, so Selma was saying that, you know, you need to have these boundaries and set expectations. You know, when you start talking about intimate things, you know, people have opinions about like, you know, when we talk about consent in like a sexual relationship, a lot of people feel weird about it because they're like, how weird is it that I'd be like with this person that already trusts me and I trust them, and then we're checking in and like it's not sexy and it makes me feel weird and uncomfortable and like insecure. This is basically the same thing where a lot of people don't want to talk to their friends about, they're fine talking to their friend about the embarrassing thing that they're feeling, but talking about the weird thing, being meta, it's too much for people. They feel weird to saying to their friend, like, listen, you know, like I come to you because I trust that like when I'm in a bad mood or I'm going through something, I trust that you're going to be there for me. But I also want you to know that you can talk to me about things that bother you. And that includes telling me this is not the time. I don't have it in me. Like sometimes I've even had to say to you sometimes where like I can tell that you're getting stuck in like a spiral that lasts like weeks where you're feeling frustrated with the world. And it's like I can see that you're losing sight of some of the positive things. And so it's a hard conversation to have, but you have to say, you know, I'm here for you when you're talking about something negative, but let's talk about something positive too. You know, don't lose sight of those things. So like these are the kinds of conversations you can have with these friends. Talk to them about how you talk to each other, what kinds of things you are okay talking about. Like that way you don't feel like, oh, there's like a misunderstanding or an imbalance of expectation or power or anything like that in that scenario.
Yeah, I think it boils down to not having assumptions. Don't make assumptions that you're bothering people. Don't make assumptions that they're not telling you. Don't make assumptions. Like, can we all just stop? I think that's the big thing for me that I find like in my neurodivergent brain, I find it very difficult to comprehend a world in which people play all these games of guessing how someone is feeling or their intentions or their meaning or this, that. I'm like, if you say something to me, I expect it to mean the things that you told me. And if you turn around later and get mad at me because what you said was not what you meant to say, that's not on me. That's on you. Next time, communicate more clearly. And I find if we all just kind of operate in that sense of like we trust that people meant what they said and said what they meant, then we can all take accountability when we said something wrong. You know, if I did say something that wasn't accurate or wasn't completely fine, I can go, oh, that was my mistake. I didn't communicate that clearly. But if we play with those assumptions instead of all playing this game, it's going to be so much more less exhausting.
Not all of us have that brain. Some of us,
we should.
Some of us are damaged in a different way, and we have rejection sensitivity dysphoria, and everything that everyone says to us sounds like they hate us. So I get that, but that's something that you have to work on. So the most obvious thing is, like I said, communicate with your friends, these people that you're trusting, and set up what the expectation is. You know, like, can we vent whenever? Should I ask you beforehand? Is there a limit to how much? Do you not want to talk about these things, but you're okay with these things? Those are all things you can talk to your friends about. And it's a weird conversation to have the first time. And then it makes every other conversation after that so much less stressful.
And also, you don't need to have all this conversation as a checklist, like when you first meet somebody. Like, this can be over time. You know, if you're like, okay, this week I feel like I'm dumping a lot of stuff on them, let's just touch base on that. Like, it can be as you nurture your friendship. It doesn't have to be like a checklist at the top of meeting somebody, because I know some of you will think that's what we're saying right now. I know some of you will be like, I'm going to print this sheet of paper, and when I meet somebody, I'm going to tell, which might work for some friendships, but is not the way most humans appreciate to interact.
Yes. And then the other thing that I think is really important, again, as somebody who, when I read your question, it kind of resonated with me in that I always think that everyone's mad at me all the time. I think that everyone is secretly talking about how much they hate me and how awful they think I am and how annoying I am and all of that. Sometimes you have to trust, like you were saying, trust is important. If you're communicating these like scenarios where you need to get things off your chest, it's usually with people you trust. I'm gonna look you in the eyes when I say this. Sometimes you have to trust that people like you more than you like yourself.
Oh. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that it's not a... you know what? Let's talk about it. Because that's one thing that RuPaul says in Drag Race all the time. How are you going to love somebody else if you don't love yourself? Which I understand where it's coming from. But if you're somebody, like you said, that's having mental health issues, or you're doubting yourself, or you're living through depression, or anything is going on that makes you not love yourself, it does not make you not worthy of love.
And it doesn't mean that you can't give love. You should always work on loving yourself and coming from a place of love for yourself and from yourself. Absolutely. But it's not, it's a very catchy slogan. It's not the be all end all of how the world works. So sometimes you might think to yourself, I hate the way that I explode when I get upset, or I hate that I'm like dumping on people,
or I hate that I ramble, or I hate that I get overexcited. Like it's not always negative.
No,
stuff.
exactly.
Sometimes we feel like we're too much, or we're too loud, or we're obnoxious, or like whatever, right? There's a large spectrum of things that make us feel inadequate.
Spectrum?
Yes.
But what I'm trying to say is that you have to trust that even though you feel that way about yourself, it doesn't mean that everybody you've ever spoken to feels the same way. Because, that's just not how the world works. So even if you're not feeling 100% about yourself, you have to trust that the people that you care about and that appear to care about you might actually care about you. Take the weight off a little bit. Take off the expectations. Again, you're saying, yes, boundaries and expectations are important, but they have to be ones that are mutually understood. You can't just be setting up expectations on everybody else's part. So the expectation that everyone finds you burdensome or annoying or any of these other things, that's an expectation that you've made on other people's behalves. No. Like I said, you have to talk to these people, find out what the expectations are in your relationship, and then go from there.
Yeah. And humans are social creatures, and we all want to feel loved. We all want to feel connected. And that's one of the parts of humanity, is that we want to feel part of a community. We want to feel like we're part of a collective. And I love being alone, and I hate people. But even I like being around people that I resonate with, because it just feels good to be connected with people. And the way we do that is very different. But what I'm trying to get to here is that if a lot of the people in your life, and this is going to be a little more serious, but we're going to go there. If everybody in your life is making you always feel inadequate, and everybody's always telling you you're too much, you're too this, you're too loud, you're too that, you're too this. Okay, one, maybe you are. Maybe you do need to check in and work on yourself. That is a very real possibility. But if you are a kind person, a caring person who's listening, and you're doubting already, I doubt that they're calling you out on things that you haven't thought about. If you're the type of person to be worrying about this, typically does not apply to you.
Bad people don't doubt themselves. Bad people don't feel bad about doing things. That's what bad people
exactly
are like. So if you've got to doubt, it's a good sign, I think. And it's a good place to start from. So if you're feeling the doubt, then explore that on your end, because like we said, how the hell are you going to love somebody else? That's not but it's a good place to start to think about. It's a process. Think about how you feel about you, and then deal with kind of how you're feeling about other people, and then how other people are feeling about it. Listen, y'all, there's a lot going on in this conversation, because it's almost like humans are complicated.
That's exactly where I was trying to get to. humans are complicated. And it might just be that you're surrounding yourself with the wrong people. Your family and your friends that you've had from school, they might be kind people. They might be great people. They might just not be your people. They might not be the people that your soul connects with. I know this sounds like jarring for some people. I am the kind of girl that just burns all the bridges and walks away without a doubt in her mind because I am very decisive. But I know that most people aren't like me. So I'm going to say this because it might really help you, because people are like, Selma, how can you do all this and be happy and not doubt yourself? I'm like, I just do it. Sometimes the people that were assigned to you through circumstance and life are not necessarily your people. And I'm going to give you a very like specific example here that I think like people will understand quickly. If you love Pokemon and Pokemon cards, and you want to talk about Pokemon cards all the time, and you're obsessed with the games and this show, and you love Pokemon, you eat, drink, and breathe Pokemon, and everybody around you hates it. Nobody gets it. They all think you're being weird. They all think you're being overwhelming. They like, why are you so obsessed? And they make you feel like you're inadequate. They're like, oh, that's for children. And they dismiss you, and it makes you feel small, and it makes you feel like, oh, well, maybe I'm stupid for finding joy in this. And for you, it's such a big part of who you are. Maybe those are just not the right people for you in this circumstance. I'm not saying there's not other parts that are good for you, but maybe you need to go out where they have Pokemon card tournaments. Maybe you need to go to Comic-Con and put yourself out there to meet people that have the same interests as you, so you can connect, so you can grow and build and feel like you have space to grow and really be yourself. Because yeah, we're multifaceted. So I think a lot of people feel inadequate because they haven't put their finger on that.
You need to find other Pokemanners.
Yes, you're the best Pokemoner ever.
That's me.
But I use that because it's a very specific, like, clear example.
And I think that we're kind of like, we're going off a little bit from the question, and we're talking about all kinds of reasons that you might feel like you can't divulge things to people, and you can't trust them as much as you want, and you don't feel as secure around certain people. So we're talking about a bunch of other things at the same time. So even if our starting question didn't relate to you specifically, I think that there's something to be said in the other things that we were saying. But also, if that was your question and you're like, bitch, why are you talking about Pokemon? It's not all about you.
No. It might be.
It might be.
It might be. But we hope that answers you, because I do feel like this is something a lot of us are feeling right now, because like I said, the times are hard. So we're turning inwards and we're trying to make connections with people. So I do think a lot of people feel isolated right now. And trying to build connections can be scary. So you know what? Take a chance, and yeah, you might be hurt and it might not work, but just be open. Be open when you meet people. Don't set yourself up for failure by having expectations of what your relationship is going to be. Don't build a relationship in your head. Let people grow, let people live around you, and let your relationship grow in real time instead of fantasizing about what your relationship is. And that goes for romantic relationships too, folks.
Right. So, but a little bit of a what's the word I'm looking for?
Recap.
That's the one. Je t'ai vraiment pris en français. Excuse-moi. Il y a des mots maintenant il y a juste le mot en français.
Un recap.
Un recap, comme on dit en français. Résumé. So basically, like we said, communicating your expectations and your boundaries and letting the other person express theirs as well. That's really important. And trusting that the people that you care about you. And if it turns out that you really look at it and you feel maybe these aren't the people that care about me the most, find the people that will, because you're worth putting in that work, even if it's not easy, even if it means a little bit of a loneliness for some time, it's still worth it. Go out there. So there we go. I think boundaries and expectations, trust, and finding your people. Ta-da!
Yay!
Yes.
And also, stop caring so much. Just turn that switch off.
Have you ever tried being normal?
Have you ever tried just not?
Have you ever tried being gay?
Oh, you should try yoga.
Have you ever tried a Krispy Kreme?
Ooh, Rice Krispie treats. Yes.
I love cereal.
Speaking of cereal, I think it's time for a little bit dessert. I think we're getting to our final little morsel of the episode.
Dessert. Can we just talk about this space?
Yes, we absolutely can. So for those of you that don't know, we are in a new set. It's not the same set as the last 2 episodes. So welcome.
So Le Saint Motel is a space here in Montreal that's like a photography studio, selfie studio. These people have everything you need to take fabulous photos of yourself, or you can bring friends, photographers, costumers. You can bring your wig stylist. You can bring your dentist. I don't care. But you book the space and then you get to have 13? 13?
There's 13 different sets for you to enjoy and be fabulous in.
So there you go. So this is Le Saint Motel, the Saint Motel in Montreal. So book the space, have a great time, and look fabulous. Saint Motel is the sponsor for this podcast, so we want to
thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you for thanking me.
Thank you.
What a wonderful home.
Wow.
Don't forget to vote.
So Uma, what is our dessert going to be today?
All right, so let's check the device. What is your drag number pet peeve, and why is it wicked numbers?
I feel like people are divided when it comes to drag numbers pet peeves. There's people whose pet peeve is wicked because the times we live in, and the other half is This Is Me.
Oh, you're talking about The Greatest Showman.
Greatest Showman, This Is Me. Specifically, This Is Me.
And those are your pet peeves?
No. I'm just saying that people are divided. I think that's what most people are like, this is my pet peeve for drag numbers. I have a very specific one. I think we share it. But I have 2 I want to mention. There's one that I think we share, and you can corroborate if it's true or not. I'm not going to put words into your mouth. But Uma and I have been working with Bagel Burlesque Expo for years, an amazing neo-burlesque festival here in Montreal, coming up in April, so check it out. Super fun. We're going to be hosting on the Friday night. And we were also on the judging committee for several years, editions. And I'm going to say this, and I say this with love, everybody, and I say this with kindness. It's not a judgment because I know where it's coming from. But I have seen so many edgy, angsty performances to Creep. And I just cannot anymore. To me, and it's not because the song is not good. It's not because the performances I saw weren't good. It's just I have seen so many of them. So to me, unless you are doing like the most amazing performance to that song, when that song comes on, no matter what kind of performance it is, I just go, ugh. And it's not because people weren't good. It's just I saw too many.
I am not as viscerally opposed to that song as you are.
Okay. It's just me then. It's a me thing.
No, you know what it is? It's just that one, if you're going to apply to like a festival or like a big show, you want to make sure that your number is really unique and individual. And unfortunately, that's not a unique individual number. I personally have no problem with it for the most part because sometimes you got to play the hits.
Yes, absolutely.
Sometimes you got to give the people what they want. And when they want an angsty number, they want Creep. That's what they want. So like, I'm not 100% against it. But I think that you have to be so good that you can take like a bit of a cliche song and then you can, without even having to do anything special necessarily, you have to be able to make that song feel fresh again, either with a crazy concept, a new take, or you're just so good that like your talent rejuvenates the song. But that's you know.
Okay, so what is your pet peeve then?
So again, this is actually, I just want to clarify because you said Wicked and This Is Me.
Yes.
A super common drag pet peeve for a lot of artists is, like you said, it's either, you know, Wicked because everyone's doing it right now, but whatever the new trending, you know, album is. But This Is Me, people are always making fun of new drag artists who do This Is Me with like slurs written all over their bodies, and they're like, just don't bother No. Do the number. Write the slurs, hold up the sign, protect bad drag. I think that This Is Me or some equal number where you have the slurs written all over your body and you cry about like what you've been through, whatever, do it. It is a like a rite of passage as a drag artist. It really does, because so many of us get into drag because we're trying to like reclaim all of the things that people have tried to tell us were terrible about us. And so getting to do that on stage, even if it's not reinventing the wheel, it's important for us as artists to have that moment when we really get to live the experience of like, this is mine now. So I actually think that like, I want to see it. I want to see it. I don't think that anyone is going to be reinventing the idea so much that it will impress me, but I want you to do it. I'm going to clap for you. I'm going to cheer for you. I'm going to validate how important that number is for you, and I want it to happen.
I agree. Do the thing even if it's cringe. Do the thing even if it's overdone. Just don't expect the audience or the judges, if it's a competition, to be blown away by it. It doesn't mean I don't enjoy it. You know, like we all love mac and cheese. It's nothing special. It's mac and cheese. We've all had it, you know, but it's always good.
So my real pet peeve is, so I can see the same number from 100 different artists, and as long as it's important and thoughtful, I'm okay with it. My biggest pet peeve is a drag artist that does the same number. And I don't mean repeats the same song. I mean every song is the same performance. I want to see variety. I want to see you do many things in your performances. So I'm not talking about every drag artist has an 8 count that we repeat for every number. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about repeating outfits. I'm not talking about doing the same songs. I'm talking about when you do 4 numbers in a night and every single one of them is the same performance. That's my pet peeve. I want to see variety. I want to see vulnerability. I want to see versatility.
You want to see a story and a concept. Let's be very real here.
No,
but you love that.
Yes.
That's what you want to see.
But you can be someone who does only dance numbers. But give me a disco track with disco dancing. Then give me a Pussycat Dolls with like, you know, some burlesque.
Some
buttons that you may or may not loosen. Then give me like, I want to see like a hip hop number where you like drop it low and do all the things that I never could. Like give me variety in the performances that you're doing. If you're going to be a musical theater girl, give me a ballad, give me a patter song, give me, give me something, give me Cats. And then on the other end, I want you to give me 6.
Yeah.
You know, the styles are completely different. You can't move the same way to...
Wow. You shouldn't, but you can.
Yeah, you can. You know what? Never let me stop you from doing anything. My opinion doesn't really matter. We established this at the top of the show. I'm not actually qualified. But, you know, you're not going to be moving the same to Phantom of the Opera as you are to Cats, as you are to 6, as you are to, I don't know, Shrek, the musical. So, like, give me variety. But if you show up and you do 4 interchangeable, like, pop songs and you do the exact same moves in the exact same order for all 3 numbers, the only thing that changes is your hair color, that's my pet peeve.
So, okay, my real pet peeve, because the first one was just kind of like a moment, a note. My real pet peeve, Perla, this isn't just about you. My real pet peeve is when performers don't emote. It just, when you're doing a song and your face never moves, and this plays into it too, that people that don't breathe when they need to breathe in a song, like pop tracks you can't always tell, but like there's a lot of music where you can hear the breath. If your breath isn't breathing and you're not emoting to a song that deserves emotion, I hate it. Perla, this is not a read on you.
Is she in it?
Because Perla's a good example for me of somebody whose face is frozen.
I was going to say, Perla can't emote.
Exactly. But I'm still happy to watch her perform because she emotes with her whole body. She knows how to slow down and look at the camera and look at the people and then move fast and turn and twirl. And like, Perla might not be emoting in her face a lot because she can't, but she's emoting with her body, which is like, I wanted to mention her because to me, she's such a good example of somebody who like for me, doesn't really emote as much in her face, but she really does embody that emotion in her performance. So emoting is not just about the face.
My version of this is, like you said, it has to do with the breath, where like you're lip syncing to someone who is singing. Opening your mouth really wide is not emoting. This just going like there's supposed to be sound coming out of you. You have to have the tension in your tongue, in your throat, in your face. There's like this sound. It doesn't just come out of your vocal folds. It comes out of like every muscle in your body gets when you're really into it. When they're doing like a rock ballad, and they're like,
"Yep."
Like no, you have to. Your face moves, your chest moves, your hands get into it.
The tension here and like.
So like those are that's yes. So they're
pet peeve.
Quoi dire de plus?
Listen, there is all kinds of drag out there for all kinds of people, and all of it has a space and all of it can be fun. These are just personal taste, and everybody likes different stuff in drag, and that's what's really cool is that we all get to do really different things and have our own audiences. So these are just personal pet peeves. I don't think it's the ultimate truth about drag. I'm just saying about the things that I enjoy, because other people will like other stuff, and that's totally fine. It's like, that's one thing that I think Drag Race has kind of ruined, is that they act as if drag is this one monolith, right? But there's so many ways of doing drag that are just as valid, just as incredible, just as entertaining. And to me, that's at the end of the day. I want to be entertained by my drag artists. So however you're doing your art form, if you're entertaining me, I'm a happy camper.
There is a drag artist for every audience and an audience for every drag artist. So just because these are the things that are our pet peeves, trust me, listen, I've been on a national, international television show where people think that judging is part of the experience.
Yeah.
So trust me, I realize that what I do does not please lots of people. So like, I'm not trying to say I am perfect, I am wonderful, everything I do is correct, but I do have opinions and tastes, and I mean, like, as much as people might look at me and think that I've got no taste, I do have.
You have your taste.
I have my taste. It tastes good.
There we go.
So that was it. That was our 3 courses of advice today here on Dear God.
Dear God.
Dear God.
Oh, dear God. Those are the type of questions you can ask us. You can go, like Uma said, something serious, something silly, something frivolous. It doesn't have to be serious and sad. But if you do have those questions, please don't be shy. We will answer the best of our knowledge, and we're here for you.
So everyone, thank you for another episode of Dear God, being here with us, sharing this lovely space here at Le Saint Motel. Share the clips and invite your friends and diddly boop the boop-a-doops.
Like,
and,
subscribe, hit the bell, and
like, comment, share, subscribe. Send me your
follow,
firstborn.
Money, kindness, comments,
Shapes, smells, concept,
colors.
Feelings, thoughts. God bless.